All right, joining us now, Jennifer Kearns, contributor for the Daily Caller and The Hill. Richard Roth, who's back, Democratic strategist and founder and partner of the Roth Law Firm. I'll start with Richard this time, if you don't mind. Richard, if this person we were talking about earlier, picking out takeout, walking the dog for Mike Pompeo, if you think about a staffer, you would think assistant. This would be typical for an assistant role.
You would think so, Sean. I agree with you. Stephen Linick is the Inspector General, and his job is to essentially look for fraud at the State Department. And this is not the first time there's been complaints against Pompeo. In the summer, last summer, there was a whistleblower that filed a complaint. Apparently, there's an issue involving his wife and getting security and traveling with him. There's an issue involving walking the dogs. There's an issue involving getting his son from Washington State back to New York, back to D.C. by the administration. So this is essentially his job is to make sure that there's no total transparency, no fraud. He was in the middle of something. Right now, we don't know. I mean, maybe Donald Trump did have a basis to terminate him. We don't know. But what is sort of odd, which is true with Yovanovitch, which, by the way, is pro-Trump, is that these allegations have come out now against Pompeo, and all of a sudden, when Linick gets fired while all this is facing. So a lot will come of it. We don't know yet, but there's some curious conduct that may have gone on by Pompeo, which we should learn about.
Yeah, Jennifer, elaborate on that. There is a lot of curiosity when it comes to Linick and looking at the timing of letting him go and then seeing Pelosi come out and question the oversight of the whole thing. Oh, I think we're having a little bit of issues there. But Richard, I'll stick with you because I know that you're on the line here. So I'll talk to you about this next topic here. Oh, are we good? All right. Jennifer, bringing you back in the conversation. You may have heard me. I'll just reiterate just to be clear here. We're talking about Linick being let go and then Nancy Pelosi stepping in to tweet out that he's a part of the oversight and, Trump should have let him go, essentially. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look, I've been a campaign staffer many times and also worked for elected officials. I can tell you I've run far worse errands for public officials than walking the dog and picking up dry cleaning. Now, having said that, look, this is the problem. From the beginning of the Trump administration, many of us were warning him about, which was the number of Obama holdovers, the number of Obama appointees that have been allowed to be in this administration. This IG was an appointee of Barack Obama. Typically, when the new administration comes in, you're allowed to set your own appointees. President Trump was gracious and allowed some of these folks to be inside his administration. But then the problem is you have some very partisan players, some very Democratic operatives inside the administration. And so I think what happened here is they're simply cleaning house. They're playing catch up on a lot of the Obama appointees that they should have replaced in the year 2017.
If I could just respond to that quickly. Mr. Linick, just so we're clear, was actually intimately involved in the finding of Hillary Clinton emails. So I don't know how someone can say he's partisan. It's a leftover. This is a guy who started the whole Hillary Clinton email campaign, lock her up. He's doing the same thing on the other side. So Mr. Linick is looking. He's trying not to be political, to my knowledge. Maybe Jen's right. But remember, he did the same thing back to the State Department when Obama was in charge and Hillary had her problems. So we don't know. It doesn't seem like it's biased. Pompeo should stay within the rules. There has been whistleblowers against him. I guess we'll see what happens.
Let me get to this next point, what I was going to talk to you about earlier. The top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee has requested that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo release all documents related to the Ukrainian natural gas firm, you may remember Burisma, and those holdings where Hunter Biden sat on the board after emails indicated that the former ambassador to the country, Marie Yovanovitch, may have known more about that firm than she acknowledged during the Trump impeachment proceedings. So it looks like the State Department could possibly comply with that order by May 28th, they're asked to do, by Jim Jordan of Ohio. Jennifer, what do you think we'll learn?
Well, look, what we're learning is how thankful we should be for the Freedom of Information Act in this country. And we wouldn't know so many things that we know today about the operations of the Obama administration if it weren't for these FOIA requests. And you look at Marie Yovanovitch, I think she may have lied in her testimony to Congress here. You see her testify in front of Congress last year that she did not have discussions over Burisma and that she wasn't that familiar with, and that Burisma wasn't really a key topic in the fall of 2016. What the Freedom of Information Act request showed here is that there were over 200 pages of emails in which she personally discussed Burisma. I don't know about you, but if I had communicated back and forth and had 200 pages worth of emails on a subject, I certainly wouldn't go in front of Congress and testify that I didn't know much about it. But here's really the key here. You've got this storyline coming up again, and it is full advantage to the Trump administration, because what you're going to see in the headlines is this Hunter Biden contract that he got with the company, for which he was paid $80,000. And if you can imagine, Sean, the backdrop of that visual against the backdrop of Americans out of work, struggling with their paltry $1,200 stimulus check from Nancy Pelosi and her friends, that is a setup for the messaging in the fall that I think the Trump campaign wants, which is these were the real people in power. These were the haves versus the have-nots, which are the rest of us around the country. I think it's a very powerful message, and if Marie Yovanovitch lied, she should pay the price for that.
So, again, I agree in part with Jen. The bottom line is Marie Yovanovitch is not part of the Obama administration. She was a lifer, not like everyone who testified in front of Congress. She was a lifer. She was there from presidents who were Democratic and Republican. So this is not about Obama. This is not about guessing whether or not there's something was bad with Hunter Biden. This is about Marie Yovanovitch. And the reason why I agree with Jen is because if she did lie, if she actually had it, if she, Marie Yovanovitch, not Obama, not Biden, not Hunter, not the money paid to him, but if she told Congress that she knew nothing of Burisma and she had a relationship with it, or she owned stock with it, or she said something which was actually not honest, then I agree with Jen. I think that we should pursue possibly charges against Marie Yovanovitch. The other stuff, which Republicans have been trying to dig up for now 2 years, it may come out. It hasn't yet. It's got 6 months left, and they're digging very mightily. But let's just see. But Marie Yovanovitch, Jen and I agree. If she had a prior relationship or a relationship which was not disclosed when she was asked direct questions, then she's facing some serious trouble.
Jen, last comment, though. Why would she lie? What would be the motive?
Well, look, Marie Yovanovitch felt very under attack by the Trump administration. And look, I agree with most of what Richard said, but I disagree on this one point. Just because you're a lifer in Washington, D.C., doesn't mean you're not anti-Trump and doesn't mean you shouldn't be questioned. The key reason Donald Trump won the White House in 2016 is because he said he wanted to drain the swamp. And let's be clear, Marie Yovanovitch was part of the swamp. She was part of the cabal in Ukraine who wanted this investigation against Hunter Biden dismissed. And then when she was called in front of Congress, it now appears that she lied. And this is part of Washington, D.C. and the swamp that most Americans despise. And it'd be interesting to watch this play out.
All right, and we will do so. Absolutely watch it play out right here. We appreciate both your time coming on to discuss these topics here on your Monday. I hope both of you are staying safe. It's always good to see you. That is Jennifer Kearns.
You too.
Richard Roth, thanks, guys. Stay safe.